Hi, my name is Robert Abrams, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I apologize for the low audio quality. I've owned this computer for quite a few years now. Cleveland has a reputation for being a less than glamorous city. Among our nicknames are the Mistake by the Lake and the River So Nice We Set It on Fire twice. So it's understandable that I've always had a passion for world traveling. As a matter of fact, I've filled my life with it. I've lived in over a dozen countries. I've worked in Antarctica. I rode my bicycle across the country. I lived in Greece for a year. And along the way, I've developed a lot of passions, among them bicycle riding, obviously, metal sculpting, and organic agriculture. As a matter of fact, one of the most formative experiences in my world travels was a job that I had a couple summers ago in Istanbul at Robert College Summer Program. There, I was part of a curriculum that immersed Turkish students in English and instilled them with an environmental conscience. I specialized in geothermal energy, and the entire program was geared toward giving students hope and ideas for the possibility of building eco-friendly cities for the future. My time in Turkey was fantastic and all too brief. I was blown away by the beauty and vibrant nature of the city, from the food and music and architecture to the culture and politics. And the people were just so welcoming. Fascinated though I was, there was much I was left wondering about, and that's the real reason I want to come back to Istanbul, is that it, of all the places I've been in my world travels, was the most fantastic and fascinating, and yet I still have all these unanswered questions. I majored in philosophy at Wheaton College, which allowed me to exercise my passion for the pursuit of knowledge and debate. It also allowed me to develop an educational philosophy modeled around the Socratic method, which is the use of dialogue and inquiry as opposed to lecturing. The Socratic method, in my opinion, better engages students than simply standing in front of them lecturing. Most importantly, it instills students with the instinct to ask questions, which, again, in my opinion, is the strongest tool for a good education. Without questions, there's no engagement, there's no clarification or reinforcement of the ideas presented by the teacher, and there's no development of an independent desire to pursue knowledge on one's own terms. A class size of 20 to 25 would be ideal, actually, because I worked at my local temple for several years in just such a class size as a teaching assistant. I should mention that that was an entirely secular role, as were the lesson plans which I helped put into practice. We taught things such as math and reading comprehension. I was teaching fourth graders in that context, but I would be open to pretty much any age group. In terms of dealing with a disruptive student, I can ironically draw on personal experience. I disrupted more than a few classes in my day as a student, and antagonizing a student who is demonstrating problem behavior is never the right answer. From my experience, the first priority is maintenance of a safe and effective learning environment. And to that end, the first course of action should always be to let the student know that the behavior is disruptive. Perhaps they weren't aware of it. If that fails to end the disruption, the student should be removed from any sort of stimuli which might be stoking the disruptive behavior. Whether that means moving the student so that he or she is sitting among other students than he or she was previously sitting, or away from the window, or closer to the front of the classroom, or some combination of these strategies, would depend on the circumstances. And that, again, is a good employment of the Socratic method in trying to determine the truth of the matter. The particularly powerful strategy when I was a kid was being moved to the front of the classroom, where you feel like positive behavior will be more immediately rewarded and negative behavior will be less tolerated or harder to get away with. Beyond that, further problems would have to be addressed in an out-of-classroom setting, and I would have to address it with a student on a one-on-one basis, and even if that even fails to address the behavior, then we might have to bring parents into the equation, which, of course, is a last resort. I think teaching English in Turkey would be a really great opportunity, not only for me to explore Turkish culture a second time, but also, now that I've developed and matured as a young adult, for me to bring my own American and global perspective to the Turkish students and to include that in an English classroom, which in this context would translate to emphasizing values such as multiculturalism and gender equality. I really hope that this answers some questions about how I would teach, and if you have any more, please don't be afraid to ask, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.